Well, hello for take number 5. We're going to do this. It's the last thing I do. Okay, number 1. I'll try not to talk and or bore you to death with trivial stuff. And if I do, just, turn it off. First thing I want to discuss with you is make sure you protect yourself, because these are volatile things. It's common sense for some people, but for some it's not, and you need a little reminding. And because I forget to. This 6x6 tile has already been sprayed. As you can see, we've got this huge mess going here. Has already been sprayed with this because it's very strong smelling. The repositioning mounting spray, repositionable, stick and restick over and over. Yeah, but you got to be careful because you don't want to tear things as you're pulling things off, because it's sticky and it will hold whatever you put down there. I've got some leaves, and before I start that, I just remembered something, because y'all have been asking about a finished product, and that would be this one. The only thing I can tell you is this one has been poured, and I am going to do a pour, but not today. I just got the resin today, and I'll show you that. And I'm waiting for one other item, and then I need to pour 2 trays. So I'm going to do that probably tomorrow afternoon and get those poured, but I will add it to this video, so don't be distressed. This has a very thick coating of the resin, and I know resin is expensive, but when you're doing something that has a high surface, like these veins popping up, you want to make sure that your resin is covering the top of them. If not, the resin is going to settle into these little divots in between the veins of the leaves, and your veins are not going to be covered. It's going to be very textural. If that's part of your plan, that's great. In this case, it wasn't, and I wanted to be able to write a letter across this if I wanted to. The other thing I want to show you, since I've got all of this stuff piled in one little corner, I originally had it mounted on this trivet. Do not use these for trivets. Because if you put Aunt Mamie's casserole dish on this at Thanksgiving, it will become a part of Aunt Mamie's casserole dish, especially if it was right out of the oven. You don't want to put anything hot on this. Hotter than a cup of coffee. You don't want to do it, because it will become part of your design. This little trivet holder, and it's got little feet on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's got little feet on it. It came from Aftosa, which is about the only place you can find these. AFTOSA, and I'll put a link on the bottom where you can reach that. And right now, I think you can get these. But the other thing that I want to show you is this. It's the box. It's the Aftosa boxes. And this one, you wouldn't get it marred up like this. This is my fault, and my husband took the tile that was on there off that I had fixed. Yeah, took that off. I'm going to reuse it at some point. I may put one of my own designs things on here, but I just wanted to show you, and I don't want to lay it down because it will become part of this. That tile will become part of the bottom of the box. Pop it in there, and it makes a beautiful gift. Now, the one that I did last year, it became part of a jewelry box, and it was Aftosa's jewelry box. It was the thick one, the very deep one. Comes in 2 levels and has a lock on it. It was a special for a customer of mine that wanted that. So I just wanted to show you what you can do with them, because obviously it helps to have some ideas. The other thing is, somebody wanted to know about removing this after you've done it on the tile. You can. Like I said, this is a repositional, but you got to be very, very careful. And then you got to think about your plan. What are you going to plan? Now that you've got this piece of aluminum that you've painted, what are you going to do with it? Well, you could probably do a lot of things with it. You probably put it on the outside of a flower pot. You could even line the back of a shadow box and use it as a backdrop for maybe some other item that you want to display in there. So, you know, use your imagination. You could do anything with that. But I tend to keep my stuff here. The other question you had on another video was about the glue. And this is the E6000, and I use it on everything. Some of these, and I think I do. Hold on one second. Let me run over here really quick. It's just 2 steps away. This is another item. I'm not sure if I show this on another video or not, but this is a tile fixed to a 4x4 tile fixed to a 6x6 tile. Okay. That being said, if you don't like that, fine. But I kind of do. But what I did with this is, and you can do it with these also, fix the D-ring on the back. The D-rings are another Amazon. You can pick them up at Amazon. But this is the E6000, and I set those D-rings down, that D-ring down in there. The other thing that you can do is, this is called Snail Tape. And the reason it's called Snail Tape is that snails won't cross this to go into your strawberry patch. But you can also use it to edge your tile if you want. It's just another option that you can do. You can also use a black magic marker to go over your tile if you want. But this is just some other way of using those tiles in your inks and to display your things. All right, got rid of that. I know more questions are going to come up off that, but that's okay. The other thing I wanted to show you before we get started, and I think I showed this to you guys once before, but because it comes in handy when doing these kind of fall projects. Mr. Clean, his little sponges, his cleaning sponges, as long as they don't have the soap in them, you're good to go. All right, what you do, you just put your little, like you do, and you can use them as a stamp pad. See? Or you can use them actually to paint with. And you can get some really pretty movement like that if you want. So it's just an idea, something to try, something to play with. And these are reusable. Don't throw them away after they start looking like this. You can rinse these out with alcohol and just kind of keep squishing them. They'll come clean, pretty clean. And eventually, you know, they get really flat after you use them over time, like this one. You get them, they start crushing down because you push them down like that and they collapse on themselves, and they're supposed to do that. You can still use these, even if they're flat as a pancake. So just for cost-wise, try it. I think you'll enjoy using it. So let's get on to this. You know about the spray. I've sprayed this already. We've got a bunch of colors here. And brushes, leaves. Okay, here we go. Make sure you trim your leaf, because if you want to, you know, it's not a fast rule. Nothing had, you know, we don't do art by rules. We do art by breaking rules. Yeah, love that. So if you want, just kind of lay them out there and see what you like best. And then make your mind up. I like to make sure which way the veins would give us the better definition. And I think if I put the downsides, and yes, these leaves are going to be a permanent part of your display. They're not going anywhere. And even if they dissolve under here, that impression will remain, that they're not going anywhere. So you don't have to worry that your design is going to disappear. So I don't know, what do you think? Maybe I got a smaller one in here somewhere. Smaller? Here we go. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. Kind of like that. It's okay. I'll move this one a little bit. You see what I mean about it glues, it grabs whatever you're doing. And let's see if I can't lift this one without destroying the leaf. So I mean, be very, very careful. So let's just kind of plop them down a little bit and hope for the best. Then we're going to grab our heavy duty Reynolds wrap. Now I don't know if you all know this, but there's little holes you can push through that hold your roll in place so that when you fling out your piece that you want, you don't throw it across the floor. The other thing, and it's been there since 1947, the other thing that's been on the box since 1947 are these little tabs that hold down your lid, which I just discovered today. Okay, so let's pull out some of this. And I think see, I didn't throw it across the floor. This is good. All right. I usually like to scrunch mine up and get all wrinkly, and you can do that as I did on that other one. But because I want to make sure that you all can see this outline, because sometimes it's kind of hard to see through with the camera. And my camera, this is my old camera, because my new camera will not tape any longer than 12 minutes at a time, and I can't watch my time and do this too. It doesn't really stick the Jesus out of me. So I thought I'd just go ahead and do this, just for the sake of expediency. And you know, you don't have to fold this. You can cut this off. You can cut these tails off, and eventually you will. But for right now, we're just going to do that. And then when I pour this today and make another tape and attach to this, it'll look different. All right, let's get started on this. I'm going to use this little thing, this soft little thing, and just kind of work my way around it. And you see, I really like it when it's got all crinkles everywhere, but I think for this purpose, so you can see the leaf outline, it's much better to leave it smooth. Oh, look at that. Isn't that fun? Let's see if I can't make that go down a little bit there. Got that. And you can use a tissue paper, you can use your finger. You can use whatever you want. Because this is art. Okay. Now, you have a choice. Do your leaf first or not do your leaf first. But I think I'm doing my leaf first. It's kind of like dessert first. There we go. Don't worry about that. Don't worry. Be happy. There we go. We're going to fill that in. You don't have to worry about being neat. This is art. We don't, you know, the neat police can go home. Like the grammar police, we don't worry about that. Okay, I got that one done. You know, this brush has been brutalized, but it's my favorite brush. I don't know if you can see this. It's got like a crazy little blown out fibers coming out the end. But it has served me well, and it was the cheap brush from, I don't even remember now. It's from the art place in Boone, North Carolina. Oh, I can't remember. It could be Cheap Joe's. I think it's Cheap Joe's out of Boone, North Carolina. They got the best stuff, and nobody's paying me. If Toast is not paying me to advertise, yeah, nobody's paying me to do that. I just want you to know that there's, you know, that I've tried things, and if I think they're good, I'm not going to tell you something's good when it hasn't served me well. All right, so we got that down. I kind of like a little more red, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure what color this is, but I think it's a red. Ooh, look at this. This is fun. Just kind of, you know, leaves are mottled. You can see that when you look at the normal leaves. that there's a lot of different color in them. And not that you need to repeat that, but you don't want it to look gray, you know, you want that. Okay, so watch this, I'm putting the lid back on. As you can see, I normally don't do that. Okay, let's see, I don't know what color this is. This is one of my Renegade bottles, and I think it's a pinata color. Oh, is it green? Oh, I'm like in heaven. Okay, look at that. Get that, move that out of the way. I never throw things away because I'm always afraid that there's going to be another use for that. And you know, you can refill these. This little nipple comes off if you get a good grip on it. You pop them off, and you can dilute your stuff and put your dilute colors in here. So we'll put a label on them. There we go. All right. Now, I wish this was a two-way street, so you could ask me questions like, what the hell are you doing? Crazy woman. But yeah, it's not. So just like you've been doing, only don't hurt my feelings. Don't tell me, you know, the video stunk. Humor me. Lie to me. No, don't lie to me. I appreciate all your comments. Even when they're not comments, they're more critical. And criticism is not a bad thing. You know, I kind of like that orange in there, so I may try a little bit of that over here. But the other thing I want to make sure I get in here is a little bit of blue, because the blue makes these oranges just pop. So I think without too much ado, and then you got to realize too, on these where it looks really smooth, I would have had this like totally wrinkled. And it would have been more, it would have had more texture to it, but that's okay. It's all good. Not a problem. I have no idea what this looks like from above. So let's just see what we got here. Let some of this just float around. So never throw your old brushes away. As you can see, they serve you even when they're frazzled. Yeah. There we go. I don't know about you, but I'm getting kind of happy with this. I want to work on my leaves a little more. All right, let's try. I don't know what this is all about in here. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. What do we got over here? Oh, that's more purple. I don't have a blue. Let's see what kind of blue this is. Denim. Oh, there we go. It's been a while since I used this denim. Let's see what we got. Put just a drop or two of blue in here and see. Ooh, something fell somewhere. I don't know where that's at. I hear something outside. Anyway, I live kind of rurally, so it could be anything. Spread this out. And let it blend a little bit. Because you know, trees do have that mottled look to them. Some days when you have the blue shining through, you know, through the leaves. On a pretty fall day, we've just gone through almost a week of rain. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, almost a week of rain. There we go. Kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of favoring that a little bit. But I think let's see what this red looks like. And if you want, I don't know if you guys are familiar with these bottles, but if you just pull a drip out and you can capture it in your brush right there without spreading it all over. And hopefully that'll work for you. Just bring that up a little bit. Maybe you want to drop some in there, you know, and watch what happens with it. Now, not feel so controlling. If you don't feel like you want to control things, let it control, let it just move. And sometimes you'll just be totally surprised at what you get. And later I'll show you what I got. When you just leave them go. Let them go and let them do whatever they're going to do. Let's kind of fill it in a little bit. Where's my little rubby brush? Let's get that little bit of modeling going in there. Maybe put a little more green. And just don't worry. Okay. Now we're going to make sure this dries very, very well. And after this dries very, very well, maybe I like to let it go at least 3-4 hours before I spray it, because I'm going to spray this. I'm going to spray it with Kmart and with the UV, because I never know where somebody's going to hang this. If they hang it in a really bright sunny room, it's going to fade. If the sun beats down on it, believe me, especially these reds, they're going to disappear, and it's not going to be pretty. It's a very noticeable going away of the colors. I've had many pieces do that before I started spraying them with the UV. I'm not sure I like that too much. I just wanted to see if it would kind of brown it up a little bit, and it did. It did, but I'm not sure I like that so much. But we'll see how it looks. And then after that, after it dries, after the Kmart dries on it, and I'm able, after the Kmart and the UV both dry, I let that go for another day, because I don't trust the resin not to have an interaction with the not the resins, but with the shellac that you're putting over the top, or the varnish that's showing up over the top of it. I just don't trust that stuff. This is pepper. Let's put a little bit on this side. So yeah, it's a couple of days from beginning to end before you have a finished product that you feel comfortable working around. Is it bottle blue? Let me try this one. I think it's bottle blue. Yeah. Let me take this brush and see if I can't whip that down in here. There we go. Put a little more of that green in there, or no, red. I like that. And I can see where I'm going to have a problem right here. Well, it's not a problem, but there we go. Give that a little more definition. So I think if you guys don't have any questions, when you do, we're going to come back and revisit this so it's not finished. And we'll work on that. All right. And I'll see you guys sometime this weekend when I start to pour. Bye. Hi, good morning. That was my husband's hand. You just saw an arm go through there. This is probably going to be the last part of the video that I'm going to show you. And then the final product, I'll put a picture on my website. And then you can see the, I'll give you the link to my website. And then you can go there in about 72 hours, because it takes about 72 hours for this to cure. And it'll be finished, and I'll have it mounted, and you can look at it if you want. Right now, I'm finishing the back of the tile with this painter's tape, and that's going to help us in the end. When we pull it off, any drips will stick to it and help finish off the back, so you don't have to worry about popping those little drips and runs off of that, because it's going to run over. And what I'm going to do right now is just put this up here on my little pedestal. The table is level, and you want to make sure you get a small level, and you can determine if it's level or not. I'm going to just check placement so you can see if it's there. Yep, you can see that. Now, when I pour, and what this has three coats of Kmart varnish on them now, and it's thoroughly dry. It's that ink is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to rebloom, because Kmart is going to keep that from happening. Okay, now the resin is art resin, and it comes in 2 different jugs, and I'm just now taped myself. There you go. 2 different jugs. One is the resin, one is the hardener. Equal parts are mixed together. Takes about 3 minutes of mixing once you get them together. And then you can pour it. I use these small little medicine cups, and for this pour, I overused the resin. Actually, poured more than I really needed for the amount of square inches I have here. But I used 2 medicine cups full, 30 cc's each, and put it in my container. Mixed it thoroughly for 3 minutes, and I usually go 3 to 4. I always extend that. You're going to get a lot of bubbles. This time I don't have too many bubbles, and that's a good thing. But once it gets poured, I use a small little creme brulee torch that chefs use to put the crust on meringue or creme brulee. And I can show that to you right here. It's handy. It's benzomatic. And you can get them from the art resin company, or really anywhere that sells kitchenware, or they'll know. Or you can use a giant burner if you want, but just regulate how far. You just want to burst the bubbles that are on the surface, and the heat brings the bubble up and bursts it, and then you've got a nice smooth glass-like area. You get 45 minutes at least of working time with art resin, which is pretty good. And there is basically no odor. I've used other resins before, and it'll run you out of the room sometimes. But so far, I wouldn't want to drink it, but it's no odor. So I'm going to go ahead and pour. And you can see how it's self-leveling, and it really makes the colors pop and makes them even more mirror-like underneath. I love this stuff. It's just really pretty. I hope you can see that, but it's going to pour. Now underneath this, I have a plastic trash bag, and it will not stick. This stuff will not stick to anything like plastic trash bag, and you can even peel it off. That's the other beauty of it. If you want to peel it off, sometimes these drips you can use in the creation of something, within the design itself. So, and you'll see how that, when you're doing it, you'll see how it does that. Now, I over poured a little bit. If I may have to go back and re-pour. If I do, we're going to sand the surface very lightly to give it a tooth and then re-pour over it. And I definitely would not use the same amount, but I'm thinking we got a pretty good pour here, and it may just be enough to take in all those little indentations and things like that. And I got bubbles. Where? Right here, huh?
Corner.
Oh, the corner. There we go. And when you do it, try to do it at eye level so you can see what's going on. Let me move some of this out of the way, and maybe you can, there'll be more of a reflection from the window. There we go. And it's dripping, like I said. And what you can't see, what I see, are the tiny little bubbles that are on the surface. Maybe you can, I don't know. But, yeah. So, okay. Now, Mr. Morgan is going to fire up his torch, and he's going to burst those bubbles. And you can see that. I'm going to get out of his way. Go ahead. And you know, you could use a hair dryer, but I have found that using a hair dryer, sometimes if you get too close, you almost blow the resin off the thing you want to cover. And that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to lose your valuable resin that's covering that. And it is valuable. And I think, you know, as he's doing this now, we would go back in another 5 minutes, check it again, because you still got 40 minutes of time to travel, you know, to play with. Go back in another 5 minutes and see if any other bubbles have surfaced from the surface. Usually, one pass will do it. Sometimes we got to go by 2 or 3, and that's pretty normal. And it looks really, really good. Very smooth. So far, no bubbles. All the bubbles have been eliminated. I don't see any rises like from the veins or anything, so I think we've got all of that deep enough if it stays that way. But like I said, it's going to be still moving. It's going to move for another 2 hours before it's really settled into where it's going to be. So we'll be able to tell then. And I think, unless, you know, if you have any questions, let me know. If I didn't cover something you wanted me to cover, let me know, and I will endeavor to do that. But like I said, I'm going to leave my website number and our address, and in a couple of days, go back and look, and because it's going to be mounted. I'm going to put it in one of the trivets. So, and that's it. You all have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.